All right, so let's take it to a topic I'm passionate about. Rico got to be passionate. It's my turn. And this story comes to us from New York City. Lawsuit aims to stop NYC's mass crackdown on marijuana shops and says it's unconstitutional. Dozens of businesses that have been shut down in the cannabis enforcement blitz that New York City Mayor Eric Adams launched in early May are filing a class action lawsuit against the city to stop the expedited closures, claiming they are unconstitutional. The enforcement effort, dubbed Operation Padlock to Protect, that's tacky, closed more than 300 stores suspected of making unlicensed cannabis sales between May 7th and June 3rd, according to Adams' office. The current pace of closure is fueled by the state cannabis reforms passed in April that allow the NYPD and the local sheriff's office to padlock a store suspected of selling cannabis without a license on the first inspection without obtaining a court order. The lawsuit, which was filed by 27 businesses on Wednesday, alleges this practice violates the shop owner's constitutional due process rights because it lacks judicial oversight. The complaint seeks an injunction to halt the practice and compensation from the city for lost revenue and other damages. In a statement sent to The Gothamist, Liz Garcia, a spokesperson for Adams' office, didn't specifically address the lawsuit's concerns about stores being immediately locked without judicial oversight. The Adams administration has been clear that the purpose of Operation Padlock to Protect is to close down illegal cannabis and smoke shops to protect New Yorkers and better support the legal market by allowing justice-impacted and other legal cannabis business owners to thrive, she said. The city's and state's past crackdown attempts failed to make a dent in the 2,900 stores the sheriff's office estimates are making unlicensed cannabis sales across the 5 boroughs. Shutting a store down previously required multiple inspections and months-long legal proceedings if it worked at all. Under state law, officers can immediately lock up any store they allege poses an imminent health and safety threat that could entail being located close to a school or church, selling to minors, or processing cannabis on site. Store owners are entitled to hearings with the city's Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, also known as OATH, within 5 days of a raid, but the administrative officer overseeing the hearing can only recommend that a business's closure be overturned. The final decision is up to the sheriff's office. The decision can't be appealed to the sheriff or the OATH, and if the sheriff's office upholds the initial closure, it remains in place for a year. The locking of stores should have never been allowed without a hearing being conducted, and the hearing shouldn't be done at OATH, which is controlled by the mayor's office, said Lance Lazaro, the lawyer who filed the suit. It should be done in a court of law where you have an impartial judge. Recently, other attorneys have also raised due process concerns over the NYP searching stores and seizing products without a warrant. The lawsuit names as plaintiffs several stores that have been shut down through Operation Padlock. In some of the cases, the suit says the administrative hearing officer recommended the closure be overturned, but the decision was overruled by the sheriff's office. Lazaro and other lawyers representing businesses that were issued citations or closed in the enforcement sweep have told Gothamist that in some cases the sheriff followed the hearing officer's recommendation to reopen a shop. But the sheriff's final determinations have not been made public, and the sheriff's office has declined multiple requests to share them. Surprise. Half a dozen licensed dispensary owners told Gothamist that they had gotten a welcome bump in business from displaced customers as the city has continued its crackdown. WeHo? I love that name. A co-owner of Lenox Hill Cannabis Company on the Upper East Side praised Operation Padlock last month after the city shut down 3 shops in his neighborhood on May 11th. He said some customers have come in with products they purchased at unlicensed shop and asked if his store sells anything similar. But advocates for the shop owners who have been accused of making unlicensed cannabis sales said their livelihoods are also at risk. A closure order can mean the death of a small business, said Charles McMillan, an attorney representing shops that have been shut down but aren't named in the current class action lawsuit. The businesses run from only cannabis sales to bodegas that have everything from sandwiches to potato chips and soda. So far, 133 licensed cannabis vendors have opened statewide. Governor Kathy Hochul is in the process of overhauling the State Office of Cannabis Management to try to speed up the licensing. Okay. So many things. Constitutional law. I love this. Equal protection under the Constitution of the United States of America is a very real thing. The police should never be judge, jury, and executioner, neither should their oath office. This is insane, and I love that this guy was willing to put his name in here and say, I'm stoked that this is happening. I think we need to be so careful. This is so disgusting. Every time I hear someone being like, well, let's shut down the unlicensed shops. Well, guess what? All of us were freaking unlicensed. Well, most of y'all weren't here for this. All of us were unlicensed when we first started. Without the people who are willing to take risks, this industry wouldn't fucking exist. So maybe let's try to find a way to, yeah, safeguard public, whatever. But I mean, we've seen in licensed shops are selling some dirty shit too, right? I think let's just be careful and make sure that we're not alienating the people who have actually helped to build this industry, because that's absolutely disgusting.
Well, my favorite thing you said there was safeguard the public, whatever.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Todd. I'll tell you what. We had less public health incidences around cannabis when it was illegal than we ever than we ever had with it while it is now legal. Now it seems like we get something new every week. Well, in worker standards, all that happened before is somebody blew up open blasting. Now we got, you know, everybody like choking out because Holyoke can't seem to ventilate their facilities properly. Like these MSOs aren't following standards either. And let's be real, all the weed in those shops are tested. It came out of the California market, and right? $350,000 fine for the death of an employee, I think, is a very, very minimal fine. I hope my life is.
Well, he was already sick.
Oh. Come on, Todd. Are you serious?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. I was just gonna say, I was like, coming out from you, I'm surprised to hear that.
That was a close one, Todd. That was a very close one.
You got out of that one by the skin on your head.
In real time, the trap is actually.
The trap is protected.
In real time, the trap actually winning lawsuits now.
The trap is winning a lawsuit, bro. And this, I love this story.
Hilarious.
This is like I'm so mad that she found it and I didn't find it first. Because New York is just a gift that keeps on giving, and this lawsuit is going to ensure that it is going to keep giving to us.
It is giving.
Yes.
It is giving. I mean, it's basic constitutional law.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, there is due process in this country, and whether you believe our justice system works or you not a fan of it, the process exists for a reason. The fact that the mayor's office is making a final determination, guess who keeps getting all these bribes? The fucking mayor's office. Guess who's getting money to their re-election campaign? The mayor's office. I'm sorry, a decision on someone's business that they've owned for however long should not be dependent upon someone who's getting their pockets filled to do so.
Fair.
Jason, you're a license holder. How do you feel about non-license holders not being shut down?
I mean, to me, it defeats the purpose of having a license. Personally, you know what I mean?
Right.
From that perspective. But like I get it at the same time too, because I operated before there was a license, and we just operated under the auspice that, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is what's good, and like we basically had a default license in the sense that we weren't being prosecuted, that the locals were allowing us to operate in that manner, and so. If the locals want to do something, it's the locals' right to do something and whatnot. But me, I'm just here with the popcorn, and I've told everyone that New York is going to be a mess, and everyone wants to just keep on gaslighting everyone in New York. Oh, it's going to be the greatest market ever, and da 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 da. And you know what? In some ways, it is the greatest market ever because it is the one open, true, fair market. So,
I hate.
What about making it easier for these trap shops to get a license?
I mean, they couldn't make it easier for a trap shop to get a license if their life depended on it, Todd. They're trying to push social equity licenses through, and they haven't even got to 500 of them yet.
So I think trap shops are a symptom of a regulated market that hasn't addressed all the needs of the consumer/public, starting with the ridiculous taxes and the cost to the end user. New York can't enforce against the trap because it can't even open the shops that would theoretically be an alternative to the trap shop.
Exactly.
And
let's be fair. I mean, like, look at LA for an example, right? We have more dispensaries than fucking Starbucks in Los Angeles.
Well, that's because people buy more weed than they do coffee.
Oh, that's in America now. Yeah.
We still have plenty of trap shops. Like, the consumers, some of them can be diverted over, but some of the people who buy trap weed, who want those California products, who want the shit they're not supposed to be able to have, are always going to buy that. And the people who are buying based on California quality are not going to buy what you guys are producing in New York. That's just not going to happen. So I'm sick of hearing, whether it's New York, whether it's California, whether it's wherever, the license operators crying and boohooing, sad me, I can't sell weed because Johnny up the street's trapping eights. No, you can't sell weed because you're doing a shitty job, you're not optimizing your customer, and your weed sucks.
I think a lot of it has to do with the weed sucking, because New York made the biggest kerfuffle when they told all the hemp people that they were going to be the growers, and they're still selling 2-year-old weed in stores right now.
I love the word kerfuffle.
I heard something very peculiar last week at
was it really peculiar?
At a LBCA meeting, right? Shout out to my man Nate. He said that trap prices right now are damn near on par with what we're seeing in legal dispensaries, yet California sales continue to slip. That sounds like a quality problem to me.
Well, I think you do bring up a point, Rico, because I will say that the quality of cannabis diminishes significantly when you are only able to sell it as a consumer packaged good, meaning that it's prepackaged prior to sell. I think that the deli style model is far better, and I think the state would actually get more revenue if they allowed for this, because the product would be better, it would stay fresher, it would sit better longer on the shelf, as opposed to all of a sudden becoming dry, dusty Colorado weed in California shelves.
I mean, let's be completely honest. Colorado created the deli model, and that's why cookies flopped in Colorado, because
Colorado did not create the deli model. That is total. In a licensed
market, they did. In a recreational adult use license market,
I don't know about all that.
They had an adult market before you guys did.
Fair enough. That part's fair.
But that's also why cookies flopped in Colorado, because we trained the consumer in Colorado to buy on quality. I'm going in there, I'm looking at the jar, I'm smelling it, I'm picking the choice buds that I want, even though I'm gonna break them up anyway. So buying your shitty Mylar,
well, first of all, you don't
and feeling bamboozled.
That's a big misstep on their part by letting the consumers pick what buds they want. That's not how it should work.
It was a great experience.
That is the most dumbest decision from a business.
I'm gonna go early and get
limited.
That was a great.
No, that's an idiot. That's an idiot decision. You tell them that's like going over to the soup kitchen and like, I want that piece of chicken right there in that soup.
But the soup kitchen, you're getting it for free, right? I mean,
that's ridiculous.
Don't you go to the deli and pick the piece of chicken you want? Don't you go pick?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I go up to the sliced meats and I tell them I want that, and slice them like this.
You've been eating meat for a year at this point, so like, let's calm down and scroll that back. But it was a really cool experience to be able to walk into the shop and feel like you were taking charge of your own shopping experience and able to make your own decision. It was cool.
I agree with you that the deli style is cool. I agree with that point. But my point is that if customers saying, "Oh, I want that nug," you're fucking tripping.
We did it for years
You're
and years and
freaking
years, and you
tripping.
know what?
That is stupid.
Well, I'm sorry that you find it stupid.
That is stupid.
Then you don't understand the deli style model.
I do understand the deli style model. The deli style model is, oh, they want an eighth of this. Okay, perfect. We're putting it up. We're putting it in a sandwich bag, sticking a sticker on it, and you're out the door.
If you want to pick a couple choice nugs, like, far be it from me to hamper your joy of going home and busting up this big cola.
If you're buying an ounce, I feel like that's more realistic. But if you're buying an eighth, that's just totally ridiculous.
Well, if you go and pick a bunch of choice buds, I might weigh you out to an ounce quicker than I would to an eighth, right? So maybe you just choice budded yourself into an
comes from a
upsale.
long line of
it's total bullshit.
Jason,
shit out of your mashed potatoes.
I'd rather shop in my store than yours, I guess. I don't know.
You're wrong, Jenny.
No, I'm right.
You're wrong.
I'm right, and we did it.
You're wrong. It's
When's the last time you served some weed in a store?
It's just the other day. Serving it all day.
So, yeah, we get it. So I appreciate that you stood up political for us. I appreciate it because New York is the gift that keeps on giving in terms of headlines. I do think that New York is the capital of many things. They're on the map for food. They're on the map for finance. I mean, this is a
California weed.
Significant market and trendsetter in a lot of different ways. What I think they really missed out on was the name of this operation. Okay, like they needed somebody in branding, because Operation Padlock to Protect is so nails on chalkboard.
OPP, man.
You know what? Rico, you know what it reminds me of. Stop and frisk.
OPP?
Stop and frisk.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is Stop and Frisk 2.0. Let's keep it a buck. But instead of doing that, they want to go with something that everybody loves in New York and New Jersey, and that's OPP.
Yep.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me.
I have a chance that these people will prevail because due process still matters, and we still have 3 branches of government. And even though these people may be doing things that are not sanctioned, here in America, we have a due process for all people, and there's supposed to be there's supposed to be checks and balances against the executive branch just doing whatever the fuck they want. They have an illicit storefront problem, but the only way, in my opinion, that you solve that is by actually lowering the taxes, increasing the quality, as my cohort has said, and making the regulated market attractive to people. If you can't do that, then I think these shops are just a byproduct of failed policy and failed execution on that policy. But this Operation Padlock to Protect, that seems like something that somebody dreamed up after they had done too many dabs, and that it sounded good for a PR newswire press release about what they're doing. This isn't going to do anything, and it's a drop in the bucket. And so it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. I think they should be really focusing on supporting regulated businesses. And I'm just concerned about the Prohibition 2.0. I don't want to be in a situation where we talk about the second failed war on drugs. And the truth is, when we talk about the failed war on drugs, it wasn't a failed war on drugs. It was incredibly successful at destroying families and communities and creating a lot of havoc for certain constituents. So it may have failed to prevent cannabis from being in people's lungs, but it actually didn't fail in breaking up homes and destroying families, asset forfeiture, and the prison industrial complex. It was actually very effective. So if they go with this padlock thing, I think we're just Prohibition 2.0. And due process matters. It's one of the very few things that's great about this country when it works. And I think that, I'm not saying the trap is good or not good, but I think everybody is entitled to a fair process that allows for the facts to be laid out and for them to have the right to shoot their shot and explain what it was they thought they were doing relative to what someone is alleging they did.
Everybody has access to Lowe's and Home Depot. That's all you got to do is go over there and get a pair of bolt cutters and take that padlock right on off.
Exactly.
Just like when you used to steal shit out of the other kids' lockers back in high school.
I'm sure some of the bodegas have some in the back, and they'll just rent it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like probably like $20 a snip.
If they could get into their bodega, it's been padlocked.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We do want to thank the suitor of music for this big old super chat, who says, Jason goes to the deli and they give him medium rare Wagyu steak.
Yeah, that $5 is gonna get you one slice.
I'm good with that. That's enough. That's enough. I give it $4.99. I can get a slice of Wagyu for that. I'm with that. Thank you so much.
You're choosing your specific one that you want. I want that one.
No.
Oh, don't do that.
No. I don't do that. Yeah. No, I'm totally against that.
Yeah.
Just say you pick it. You pick it for me.
No.
Who needs to?
I tell them to give me the best, freshest ones, because they're the ones that are stocking it. They're the ones that are going to know better than I am.
Has anyone ever gone through this process with Jason Beck buying anything? Because if you have, you know this is complete and utter cap. But I appreciate your conviction.
You're so full of it.
Stick to your narrative.
That's the most craziest shit that I've ever heard.